High Tales of History is for mature audiences.
It was an event that had a few names, some used more commonly than others: the Banquet of Chestnuts, Feast of Chestnuts, Ballet or Dance of Chestnuts, or the less used name, the Joust of Whores. Katie, what do you think happened at this event?
I'm like, in my mind, there were a lot of titties involved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to
You're on a
put
great
that out
path.
there.
You're on a great path.
Oh,
Tits is a
good.
really good answer to throw out there. Everybody wants to talk about the orgy. All the family and friends were invited. It's this lavish affair. Decadent food, drink, pour that wine. Entertainment. 50, quote, honest prostitutes were brought in to serve food and drink, to speak with the guests and converse and be charming, and then to dance. But, as the night went on, less and less clothes stayed on bodies. And after dinner, some people thought it would be really fun. Let's take the candelabras off the table. Let's scatter the floor with some chestnuts and have the now naked ladies crawl around on their hands and knees and see how many chestnuts we can pick up with our mouths. Or maybe some people like to suggest with their nanny hoo-hoos. I don't know where that's going. With their nanny hoo-hoos.
Is that what you call a vagina?
With their flowers, you know what I mean? Hello, everyone, and welcome to High Tales of History, a history podcast where two sisters get high and surprise each other with a story from history. I'm Laurel, your older sister.
Katie, the younger sister.
We're here for episode 117.
Holy cow.
107. I know.
Glad you're writing this down.
117. You have to at some point. I've just got an entire wall of tally marks. That's how I keep track of it.
Oh.
It just looks like Alcatraz over on my wall over here.
Seems extremely inefficient, but okay.
It's extremely inefficient. I know. We were just talking about how we are going on to 5 years in June. And I was like,
oh yeah.
Wait, what? That's wild. June 2021. Yeah.
There were a lot of late nights. You remember that?
Katie used to come over and hang out in the same room as me. And she'd hang out in my old room.
We used to do it in the same location.
And she'd be leaving at like 11:30, midnight.
Dude, it was like 1 a.m. I remember there was one.
There's so many times.
There was one time I left and I think you had smoked up in the room. So I got like super contact high. And I called Blake and I was like, dude, do you want some Taco Bell right now? And he was like, baby, are you high? I was like, no.
I'm coming home with a chalupa and some cinnamon twists. Hey, welcome back to the Smoke Circle, Katie, and dear listeners. Katie, what are you gardening today? You can tell I am. What are you doing? What have you dug out of the garden today?
Huckleberry. An edible called Huckleberry.
Oh.
An anytime blend, it says. I'm having a time. I'm just
Not just any time.
Yeah, I'm having a great time.
Okay.
Hey, Laurel.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Hey there.
Hey, what are you partaking in today? We went on a Huckleberry Ferry. That's what I'm going on anyway.
Oh. Well, I had a smoke earlier. I'm trying to be like discreet. I had a smoke earlier.
Gotcha.
And then I just had half of an edible because I'm like, I have to be able to like
function.
I gotta function. I gotta be able to read my notes here.
We have history to talk about.
We have important things to talk about.
Yes.
You don't need me being able to be like, oh no, it's too much. And also it's just started to kick in as well too, which is great timing. Great timing. So get your snacks, get your waters, get your cup of tea, get settled in. Are you ready for some sex, murder, and Renaissance era corruption and decadence? I don't know why I've got like the Chicago Bulls, like the 90s Chicago Bulls.
Right?
Right? Was that Alan Parsons Project? Anyway, get your asses in the phone box time machine, everybody. I hope you like Italian food for your munchies. I'm going to introduce you to one of history's greatest cold cases.
Ooh, mystery history.
The scene, right? The lights have gone down. Fog, right? The fog clears. The lights go up. We're in Rome. It's June 14th, 1497.
Oh, shit.
This is the Renaissance era, Italy. It's night. And it's in June, so like it's probably a hot day. You know, like those days that you get at the end of a hot day, or the nights that you get at the end of a hot day. You know, like the stars come out. There's like maybe like a little bit of a breeze that's like cooling the day down, dude. You
Yeah.
know, just a little flutter in the hair.
So it's like, so the day was hot and now it's comfortable is what you're saying.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
like you're starting to feel like, okay, I don't feel so sticky.
Yeah.
This feels good. I'm taking liberties here with the weather. I do not know what the weather was like on June 14th.
Well, somebody should have written it down.
But you know what was hot?
The goss?
The hot goss. And the two brothers walking their hot asses down the street.
Oh.
Their names are Cesare and Giovanni. Because of course they are. And they are walking.
They sound handsome.
They sound handsome, right? And they're walking down the street after a family dinner that they had at their mother's opulent home, right?
Okay.
They're hot. They're rich. They've had probably a fantastic dinner at a fantastic house, had a fantastic time. And also did I mention that they're hot, right?
Yeah. Do we have proof?
They're sexy as hell.
Like, how do we know that they're hot?
Okay. I'm so glad you asked. So Katie, I sent you 5 photos. These guys are handsome, but they're not even handsome for the time. You know what I mean? When people be like, this is the most beautiful woman of all time. And you'd see a picture and you're like,
the blue and the red?
Sure. Blue and then red. Yeah.
Blue and then red. Okay. Sure. All right. I'm in. I'm on board.
Okay. These guys are not just handsome for the time, but like if you saw them walking down a Roman street today, you'd be like, hey, ciao. You know what I mean? Little hair tuck. They also
drop your WhatsApp.
Make sure you write that all down, everybody. Like they're good looking and they're rich. But here's actually the most important thing. They also happen to be members of the most powerful family in Rome, and maybe like all of Italy at this time. I'm pretty sure that's I'm gonna say it.
Oh no, that's Assassin's Creed.
No, you're right. Keep that name, Katie.
God,
Good
Assassin's Creed has taught me so much good Renaissance history. Thank you.
Exactly. When you said Assassin's Creed, I was like, I actually think the Borgias are in Assassin's Creed. So here we go.
Yeah, they're the family that like takes down Ezio Auditore Firenze's family.
Ooh.
Get out of here. Like, I'm fucking ready. I played. I was in.
That's your name. Pin that to the top of the board. Giovanni and Cesare are joined by their valets and a mysterious masked man. Ooh. Is he also hot? We don't know. He's got a mask on. We're going to also say,
let's hope.
Right? You're hot, and you're hot, and you're hot. And maybe some horses, right? Some horses come into play here. Let's keep these horses with us. Italian horses. They're also hot. They all look like Shadowfax.
They're also hot. Everybody in here is just smoking hot. No, you guys like to talk about history. Importantly, this is important.
This is important history. Lord of horses everywhere. Lord of our hearts. You know what I mean?
Right?
So sorry. Let's go back to this masked man. We don't know who he is, but he was a guest of Giovanni's at the family dinner earlier. And also, there were some reports that he had just been visiting Giovanni quite frequently, almost daily, at his apartments. So maybe a new friend? I don't know.
Lover?
Who knows? Gay lover? Masked?
That's what gets me is the mask.
And they are, you're going to have to put a pin in that guy too. Masked man, put a pin up in your little cork board. Who knows what's going on there? But these guys, they're fabulously rich, incredibly powerful.
Okay.
That's a really great recipe for making enemies.
Yeah. It's amazing how easily that happens.
Foreshadowing. The slightly younger of the two brothers, Giovanni. So I'll have him up here for everybody. Right? You're looking at him. You're looking at him. You're like, oh, hey. Oh, hey, Giovanni.
I mean, I'll take the turquoise guy first, but yeah, Giovanni's a good backup.
Right? Okay. He's a bit of a party boy. He's a playboy. You know, again, he's good looking. He's rich. He likes to drink and go out and have a good time. Yeah. On his belt, he has a purse of 30 gold ducats. Ducats. There we go. That feels like more a right word. Ducats.
There you go.
Yeah. Which has the Renaissance era buying power of nearly a year's wages for a skilled worker. That's a whole lot of money just like swinging from your hip. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Holy shit.
He and his brother and their valets, they're walking back from this dinner. He looks at Cesare, his older brother, and he says, you know what? Instead of going home with you, I'm going to go out and find some other entertainment. Wink. Which, knowing our Playboy
He's going to the
Giovanni, that
brothel.
could be, yeah, it could be drinking. It could be womanizing. It could be all of the above. Taking leave of his older brother, Giovanni, his valet, and this mystery man in a mask head off into the night.
So
Together.
only, what's his name? Cesare?
Cesare, yeah.
Cesare.
It looks like Caesar with an extra E at the end.
So Cesare goes on home and everybody else goes on to said party hour, after party.
Yeah.
One might even say.
Yeah, we're having an after party.
Okay.
We're going out.
Yes.
I'll
It's
see
our
you later.
nightcap after party. Cesare goes home. Okay.
Goes home, yes.
Alone. Doesn't have
with his
anyone
valet.
walking. Oh, okay. So
and maybe a horse, right? Like that's the thing. Like
hot horses.
hot Shadowfax horses.
Horses.
Hot horses for hot guys. Okay.
Absolutely.
TM. That's our slogan. Hot horses for hot guys. That's the stable we run.
We're gonna second time within multiple centuries save the Lipizzan horses, be like hot horses for hot guys, and then they're gonna like have a resurgence on TikTok, and we'll save the whole breed again. Hot horses, hot guys.
Yeah, that's the handle.
Shirtlessly ride dressage on this fancy white pony. That will get you all of the attention.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on,
Katie.
Hot horses, hot guys. Cesare has left and gone home with a valet and a hot horse, and there's nightcap after party for everybody else who are also on hot horses.
Yeah, for Giovanni, his masked buddy, and their valet.
Yes, indeed.
Or Giovanni's valet, his servant.
Gotcha.
So those three.
And I'd like to think of him as a bodyguard because clearly these bitches need it.
Somebody better have some sort of little dagger in their little fancy boot. You know what I mean?
I'm talking saber. All of the above.
A rapier.
Yeah, there you go.
So together, these three men, they go to the Square of the Jewish section of town. We've been here before, actually, in another episode.
That's what they called it, though?
Square of the Jews, yeah.
Let's go to Greek town, Square of the Greeks. Oh, let's go over to Jewish town, Square of the Jews. Like, wow, you guys really worked hard on that one, didn't you? It's about as creative as Mount Doom.
You're like, this is where this is happening.
Yeah,
in the
Square of the Jews. Okay.
Yeah, but we have been here before in our Syndrome K episode, right?
I
So
thought I was going to ask, is this the same spot in Rome? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at that.
But this is
connecting
before all that.
History through time.
Yep.
So Giovanni leaves his valet there. He's like, hang out here. Wait for me. I'll be back after my night out.
Okay.
It's like, okay, you're the boss, right? Giovanni and the mysterious masked man, whose name no one else seems to know, I guess. It's not written down. They ride off into the night, leaving the servant behind to wait for his master.
That's a really terrible idea. Now you don't have a bodyguard.
Fabulously rich.
Hello.
Right? Even had a good amount of that wealth on his person, like literally on his body.
A year's salary? Yeah, I'd say so.
One of the most powerful families of the Renaissance. Again, a great recipe for making enemies. Now, we really don't know what happens after this. And even so, some of the finer details that I already have given and will give can even be in question depending on your source.
Okay.
All my sources are listed down in the show notes. But what we do know is that midday on June 16th, so nearly 2 days later, a man's body is pulled from the Tiber River, which flows through the city of Rome. Now this ancient body of water has seen some shit. Okay?
The Tiber River runs through Rome, yeah, it does.
Yeah. So Rome, it's been established and it grows around the banks of this river. You know, the empire itself has risen and fallen. Yeah. And it now is is the seat of power for the empire, is all the seat of power for kind of another kind of empire, is that's the Catholic Church. Whose power stretched further and greater and deeper.
That's actually not a wink. That's like historical fact. Yes.
Yeah. Than any of its past emperors could imagine, for the future of the city and for Rome, right?
And still going now.
Thousands of bodies have been dumped into the Tiber River, and the water keeps on flowing, right?
Yeah.
It does not care what your name is. It does not care of the history around it. So there we are, right? So this body, bloop, is getting pulled out of the Tiber River. And this particular body is fully clothed, still buttoned up, gloves tucked into the waist, a little cute Italian belt there, I'm sure he's got. Stockings and socks, everything's still intact and on. The purse of the 30 gold ducats, there you go. I don't know why I want to say ducats, like it's like Thundercats.
Ducats. Oh.
Ducats. The purse still on the body with 30 gold
All
ducats.
the money in it?
All the money is still there. So
What?
Doesn't look like a robbery if you're going to ask me. I mean, I'm no
This is a
FBI
crime of
agent.
passion. Gay lover?
But even though all those things were all put together, the body, unfortunately, was not. The throat was cut, and 8 additional stab wounds were on the chest and face. The once handsome face of Giovanni Borgia. And Giovanni Borgia is not just any kid of a rich family. He's the legitimized son of capital T, the capital P Pope. I'll say it once again. He's the legitimized son of the Pope, one of the most powerful positions in the world. Now, again, we do not know what happened to Giovanni and this potential mystery man after they left the company of his brother and the valets. But a contemporary source from the time, that being of priest Johann Burchard.
Okay.
So he's been like a chronicler and master of ceremonies for several papacies. So this guy's not just been with like 1 or 2 popes. He's been like with 5 to 7 or something by this point.
Right. He's the secretary that everybody keeps on because he knows what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, it's not a secret that this guy did not like the Borgias or Pope Alexander the
I feel like a lot of people didn't like him.
This Burchard, who has a lot of these very detailed accounts of the family, he did not like them. So you have to take everything he says with maybe a little bit of that salt, that proverbial truth-gathering salt, because, some of this could be slander too. But here's his account. Next day, Giovanni, can't find him anywhere. He doesn't come home. His servants are getting nervous as hell, and they go to Giovanni's father, Rodrigo Borgia, the Pope. And Rodrigo, though concerned, thought perhaps he's like, hey, maybe he spent the night with a lady and he doesn't want to do the walk of shame in the daylight. Let's wait
or he's out partying or something. Yeah.
Wait for the sun to come down. We'll look for him tonight. But that hope gets shattered and dwindles when the valet that was left to wait for Giovanni the night before, he is found in the morning fatally wounded, and he dies before he's questioned, or like just after he's found, before they can ask him any questions like what happened.
The plot thickens.
The plot, it thickens. And also, according to Burchard, the horse that Giovanni was riding found its way back to the papal palace
and was hot,
riderless. And it was not only was that horse still hot, but unfortunately did not have a rider on the back, and the stirrup was cut, or one of them.
Oh,
the plot thickens again.
Interesting. So, like, may I say something? This is what I'm thinking right now. So before you give us any more information, I want to say what I'm thinking, because I never do, So, like, tells me the valet was actually probably, they went for him first, right? Because it was expected that what's-his-face would be with him. But when they find his body, describe the wounding to me again. It was like stabs and his face was disfigured. This was a crime of passion and it was personal. And it's somebody who hates the Borgia family because they were destroying his image. When perpetrators go after the image, dude, it's that tells you a lot about the crime. So, like, I'm just saying, man, his horse was probably also gone, still hot, but like
hot but missing.
Hot but missing. Especially because he wasn't robbed, and like the throat cut and everything. I was listening to like those FBI profilers describe crimes one day, and it was really interesting how like stabbing mimes like penetration. It's a very quote unquote sexual act. Sometimes in this case, the stabbing, which, you couldn't really shoot people back in the 1400s, I don't think. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think you're
going more the stabby route than the bangy route.
Right. Like, I don't think guns were really a thing back then. And if they
Shoot.
were, they were really hard to use.
All the ballistic historians are all going, God damn it, did you know that the
In Rome?
like, I don't know.
No, I played Assassin's Creed.
It's a
I
canon.
know what I'm talking about. So like, they only use blades. So Katie's like, wrong. I played a video game. I'm obviously an expert. So
I see what you're saying. A crime of passion. They messed with his face. They stabbed him. They didn't rob him.
it was actually an attack on his family, not just him. It was an attack on what he represented, not just Giovanni. Giovanni was just the reachable target.
Okay.
I rest my. This is. I just wanted you to know that, and then tell me more.
Yeah, Agent Katie, you keep those sunglasses on and that trench coat buttoned up. Put your little special agent badge in your back pocket. Keep that going. Keep that thinking going. And all of you, I want you to be trying to figure out. Like I said, this is one of history's great cold cases.
I've already got it half solved.
Yeah. Okay. Katie's got her theories. On to the search. A search was conducted in the area where the valet was discovered. No leads were found. Burchard writes a very detailed tip from a timber dealer named Giorgio, who helped with the discovery of Giovanni's body in the river. Giorgio was staying aboard his boat on the Tiber to protect his cargo on the night of the murder. Quote, at about 2:00 in the morning, 2 men came out of a lane by the hospital onto the public road along the river. They looked about cautiously to see whether anyone was passing, and when they did not see anybody, they disappeared again in the lane. After a little while, 2 others came out of the lane, looked about in the same way, and made a sign to their companions when they discovered nobody. Thereupon a rider appeared on a white horse who had a corpse behind him with the head and arms hanging down on one side and the legs on the other, and supported on both sides by the 2 men who had first appeared.
So they're holding up the dead body.
He's over the back of the horse. Bloop. And then the 2 other guys that had come out of the... I'm guessing maybe forward on the tummy.
Oh, slump forward. Okay. That was my question.
So like arm, upper body on one side, legs hanging off the other side. And then the 2 guys from the lane
like
come
a
and
hunted deer.
Kind of like that.
Okay. I was thinking sitting up in the stirrups, but slumped over and they were holding him by his shoulders. That's what I was thinking. So this is why I asked to make the distinction. So hunted like a deer over the withers of the horse. Where the saddle goes.
We have a very alive rider with the body on the back.
Oh, so there's 2 people on the horse. There's not 3 horses and 2 people holding the middle person dead on the horse. Got it? Okay. Carry on. I'm with you now. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. And then the two of the guys who came out from the lane, they're like, right, we've got his upper and lower. At the bank, they came to a halt and turned the horse with its tail to the river. Then they lifted the corpse, one holding it by hands and arms, the other by legs and feet, and dragged it down from the horse and cast it with all their strength into the river. To the question of the rider if it was safely in, they answered, yes, sir. Then the rider cast another look down at the river. Like I said, this is a detailed-ass tip. And seeing the cloak of the corpse floating on the water, right? His cloak was risen up, it's on the water. The rider is like, cloak, I can see it.
Yes.
And then they start throwing rocks on top of the cloak to weight it down.
Sure.
And pull the clothing and the body down to the floor of the river. Then all 5, so we have the 4 guys without horses that were hiding sneaky in the alleyway.
What we will call the henchmen, most likely.
The henchmen, yeah. And then we have the rider on the horse.
Is in all 5 of them, ringleader.
Yeah, probably. All 5 of them left and took their way together through another lane that leads to the Hospital of St. James. End quote. Woo. And they asked him, they're like, Giorgio, why didn't you report this? This sounds serious. Our Giorgio replied, in my day, I have seen as many as 100 corpses thrown into the river at that place on different nights without anybody troubling himself about it. And so I attach no further importance to the circumstance.
What else is he supposed to do?
Again, the Tiber has seen some shit is what Giorgio is saying. And it was used, figuratively and literally to wash away the memory of people within the city. For centuries. Like that's what they would do to emperors or leaders and stuff like that. They're like, erase the statues, throw them in the river, let them get washed away.
Right.
Forget them. Wash away the memory.
Washes away on. Is the Tiber like the size of the Thames? Like, what?
Mm.
Thames is pretty wide.
I don't know if it's as wide. At least the pictures I've seen of it, it's more narrow, at least as it's going through the city.
Okay, sure.
I've not seen it with
So
my
like
eyeballs,
Chicago
but
River, probably. I'll think more
Yeah.
Chicago River.
think like that. Yep.
Okay.
So he's able to at least see the other side of the banks.
Okay,
here.
so it's not like this massive monumental river. Okay.
Right.
That kind of matters to me.
Yeah.
Gotta set it right.
That's fine. That's a good question. After Giovanni's body was recovered, Rodrigo, his father, was devastated and locked himself away for days. When he returned to his cardinals, they all offer their condolences, and the Pope says, "The Duke of Gandia is dead. A greater calamity could not have befallen us, for we bore him unbounded affection. Life has lost its interest for us. Indeed, had we 7 papacies, we would give them all to recall the Duke to life. It must be that God thus punishes us for our sins, for the Duke had nothing to deserve so terrible a fate."
So is he a narcissist, or did he actually like super love his kid?
Like he super loved his kids. Yeah.
Okay, so he like adored his children.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It wasn't for like narcissism, my legacy is my everything patriarchy, or like he actually liked his kids? Or
It
both?
probably is a little bit of both, but
Okay.
he did actually legitimately love his kids. Yeah.
That kind
Mhm.
of actually makes a difference to me.
Okay. So who was this Giovanni Borgia? Who's this man that people must have loathed so much, or at least, if it wasn't everybody, somebody did enough to want to have him murdered. Okay. So history is not short on rich, powerful, and potentially weird as fuck families. But in Renaissance Italy, that's more the norm than the exception. The powerful families, they ruled many city-states, duchies, republics, like all the little areas that made up the Italian peninsula during the Renaissance. So we have the Medicis.
A lot of Italia.
Italia, yeah. I mean,
Italia.
you're not wrong.
It just sounded terrible in my American accent.
Yeah.
Italia. In Italy.
Yeah.
It was pretty much regionally ruled for the majority of its history, was my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Until like World War II almost, right?
Yeah.
Or one even.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But certainly at this time, yeah. So you have in Florence and Tuscany, you have the Medicis. We know that name, right? The Sforzas of Milan. But it's the Borgias where like Katie, that's the thing. I say nefarious family, the Renaissance, and Katie was like, the Borgias, I know.
The Borgias, yeah.
Yeah.
It made its way. They were so look at it this way. Assassin's Creed has a lot of real history in it. That's why I liked it. And it's why I liked Age of the Empires, right? There's no secret there. Laurel and I have loved history since like the dawn of our times. Like history's always been a thing. I even played my video games around it. So that's how like into history we are. They are such a notorious is the word I will use family. They made their way into an Assassin's Creed game. Let that kind of tell you what you need to know about them.
Yeah, they're quite heavy in pop culture still to this day. Now, in order to know Giovanni, we do have to learn a little bit about the family. Borgia, Borgia, was originally spelled Borja, Borja. The family originally being from the Valencia region of Spain.
Interesting. I was going to say that's a more bohemian way to spell it almost. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm saying Borja because the J is a sound. And so I'm really hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, they were a Spanish family from the Valencia region, that own little kingdom or area. The family also produced 2. Count them 2. I mean, most families can't even get 1 pope. 2 popes from the family.
True, actually.
The first of this family coming to Italy being Alonso de Borgia. It's also written as Alfonso. A lot of them have 2 names. And he was the one that brought the family to Italy in the first place. And he later became Pope Calixtus III. Through a bit of bribery, became
He was
Pope.
also hot.
I don't know. Rodrigo certainly is not.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure about Alonso. As Pope Calixtus III, he was all about that nepotism and got his nephews and other family members all set up in various positions of political and ecclesiastical power. And one such nephew ends up being the most famous, or maybe infamous, depending on how one likes to keep the record, of them all, and that's Rodrigo Borgia. Now, this is Daddy Borgia. Not daddy hot, but just like daddy. He is the daddy of all these kids, okay? He is the patriarch. He's the powerful patriarch of the family. And under his uncle, he was established as a cardinal in 1456. But he was a special cardinal. He was kind of like right hand to the Pope, spoke directly with him, right? So he was a special cardinal. Before his ecclesiastical position, he had fathered 3 children with other women and an additional 4 with his beautiful long-term mistress, Venosa de Cantenay. After getting his position as cardinal. Ooh la la, right?
Rules don't keep this guy down.
Now, celibacy, I'll throw it in here, but celibacy for people of the cloth was a rule. Like, it was a thing. It wasn't like in the earlier years of the Catholic Church, we didn't have to. But he was certainly not the only pope, nor was he the only, leader in the Catholic Church.
I feel like it was a rule, but it was so commonly broken, like that it was like, oh, yeah, another one.
Yeah. Yeah. And these kids are, in order of their birth, Cesare, so he's the one in blue.
The very handsome one. Yes.
Cesare, who was walking with Giovanni the night of his murder. He's cunning. He's ruthless. He's ambitious. He's also considered the prettiest brother, the best looking.
Told you.
Right?
I can pick him.
Then we have number 2. That's Giovanni. He's in the red of the pictures I gave you. Third child, Lucrezia. Okay. She's the girl of the 4. Oh. Oh my goodness. You know how I said the boys were so super duper good looking and good looking, not only for the time, but even against
just in
modern
general
standards?
Yeah.
Lucrezia was as well. She is so freaking pretty.
This is why this guy had to have so many kids. He's like, I'm too hot. I need to keep making hot people.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think they got their mom's looks because Rodrigo was not good
so he's
looking.
just a good mixing agent. Got it.
Yeah. He's the first person you're going to see on that list of photos. So you can let me know what you think. But in comparison to the other family members, he's not as hot. But Lucrezia, yeah, she's like the jewel of the family. She is her father's favorite. She's the favorite child, but she's frequently used, in her marriages to make powerful alliances and connections. The 4th child, the youngest, is Joffrey, who was Rodrigo's, behind closed doors, he was Rodrigo's least favorite, as he was more quiet and timid, wasn't as ambitious as his other
brothers. Didn't raise hell like the other 2 womanizers.
Yeah. So he would be like, are we sure Joffrey's my kid? Hardy har har, kind of thing, like, because he's not like me. Right. I know, poor Joffrey. Giovanni's the favorite son. Lucrezia is the favorite child. And these 4 kids, though technically illegitimate, right? They're with his long-term mistress. And again, he's a cardinal.
Oh, so his other children weren't even his favorite as much as his mistress's children were.
They're the ones that tend to get the most historical attention.
Okay.
For one thing, those 4 kids, his other kids, they just didn't live in Italy with him. They were older. They had their own lives. And he was kind of like, there they are. We're going to focus on the kids with the lady I like the best. And I love these kids.
That's kind of what I was assuming. Yeah, you can actually see they do definitely all look like their mom if you look at them. They got mom's looks for sure because they're very similar. And man, these painters did a damn good job. Bang up job on this. 10 out of 10.
Make me look good, Renaissance artist. Yeah. The 4 kids, though, again, technically illegitimate, were openly claimed by their father and therefore legitimized in that sense, and loved by Rodrigo. He loved his kids, even poor Joffrey, but he did not hide his favoritism. And again, he used his children to the political and power advantages of the family, right? And over time, that strains his relationship with his kids as well as their relationships with each other. Giovanni the man now, the second and favorite son, was born about 1476. He lived for a time in Rome with the rest of his family, but was later sent to be a ward of his older half-brother, Pierluigi, who was the Duke of Gandia, over back in that Kingdom of Valencia. back in the family's like ancestral homeland.
Okay, so the second of these kids, the second brother between Giovanni and
Cesare?
Cesare, thank you. So it says between Cesare and Giovanni, there's a second brother, and he's in Spain, basically.
No, the half siblings were born
these are
much
the
earlier.
half-siblings.
The half siblings, the 3 other children that he fathered, were with other women before he became a cardinal. The 4 kids that we're going to focus on, or like, that we talk about, the names that you'll hear, are the ones that he had with his long-term mistress, Venosa.
Okay, so the other kids, you're making the point that they're not even in this country. Got it. I'm following along.
Yes. So the older half-brother, Pierluigi, is the Duke of Gandia. Giovanni goes to stay with him. And upon the death of his older half-brother, Pierluigi, Giovanni succeeded him as the second Duke of Gandia. With the granting of this title, there's a future marriage contract that gets written between a 12-year-old Giovanni and Maria Enriquez de Luna, the first cousin of King Ferdinand II of Aragon. Ooh.
Excuse me?
Royalty. There we are.
Yeah.
But because Giovanni was so young, they postponed the wedding for 4 years.
Thank goodness.
They're like, we're going to write the
hell?
contract for this now.
How
but
old was
this
she?
will happen in 4 years. I have no idea. But he was 12. So
I would
right?
think she would also be like 10 to 12, right?
Something like that, you think?
Yeah, hopefully they're somewhat close in age.
So 4 years later, in 1492, Rodrigo becomes the freaking Pope, also with the bribe, just like his dear old uncle, Calixtus there, and took Alexander VI as his Pope name. I will sometimes call him Alexander VI when it makes sense, but otherwise I'm going to call him Rodrigo or Daddy Borgia. Daddy Borgia. Like, gross. So with his father as the new pope, Giovanni, now 17, is married to Maria Enriquez de Luna, but only stays there a couple more years before he's like, I'm homesick. I want to come back to Italy. I want to be there. I want to be there with the rest of the family. The alliance has been made, right? I got married. I've made some kids. So like alliance, marriage, kids. I've done what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Can I come on back? And Daddy's like, all right, you can. I've got big plans for my favorite son. Get back over here. I'm going to put you in charge of the papal army. Because of course, that Rodrigo's papacy and just the existence of the Borgias is not happening in a vacuum. Obviously, Europe, as you mentioned earlier, is like a patchwork quilt of various kingdoms, different duchies, republics, city-states, boop, boop, boop. So it wasn't just the Italian peninsula that had a lot of different areas going on. And then, as you're looking at the continent at that time period, there's a whole ass Holy Roman Empire in the middle that is further patchworked, which is neither holy nor Roman nor an empire. Talk amongst yourselves. That's my big joke.
Ironic.
Yeah, right? So there's a variety of wars happening, alliances made, advancements into other lands. Like, hey, you keep yourself to yourself over there. No, I'm not going to keep myself to myself over here. You hear? Well, this guy's my friend now, and he's going to give you a big fat lip. Well, that's what they sounded like, obviously, back in 1492.
Like an old school boxing match.
Right. So Giovanni, now in charge of the papal armies, he gets his first campaign in 1497. He's 20 years old. So that's fun. And he leads the papal forces against another powerful family in Italy, the Orsinis, who had aligned themselves against Pope Alexander VI with the French and King Charles VIII. The French were like attempting to essentially just kind of shimmy a little path down through the Italian peninsula and claim the kingdom of Naples for the King of France, Charles VIII there. Okay, shoot.
Italian politics
Get on that
reminds
horse.
me, like, anytime I, look into Italian politics, they're so, regionally divided. They argue, it's it's like a right almost. Like they are just like, absolutely not. And they just squabble amongst themselves. Like, I feel like that is most of Italy's history. Like anytime I hear it, I'm like, wow. Or even now today, you'll hear, if you talk to people over here who are Italian in heritage, what one person says is how a dish is made is not true for the other, depending upon the region you come from. Still, the politics today still remain.
And that's kind of the case with these two families, the Orsinis and the Borgias, and they go against each other. Again, the Orsinis even going so far as like aligning themselves with another country and king. You know what I
Whole
mean? They're
country
like,
to be
hey,
like,
we're
absolutely not.
right. Now, while Giovanni did have a few wins, that's good. He wasn't particularly effective as a military commander, and ultimately he lost the war against the Orsinis. However, check this out. This did not stop Daddy Borgia, Pope Alexander VI, that even though his kiddo lost this war, he's like, son, I'm going to give you a principality made up of other little areas of Italy, including some of the Orsini's lands. You know, that war that you lost against them, I'm still going to give you some of their lands anyway. How about that? Shock, scandal, insult. And it goes so far that Rodrigo Borgia meets with all his other cardinals in secret to like see how they can make that happen. That's on June 7th, 1497. It was only 1 week later that Giovanni Borgia was murdered. A brief biography, really, for a brief life. It's like his main thing is just this military campaign that he went on after his time as a duke for a few years. So the next questions that come up then are, okay, well then who murdered him and what was their motive?
Yeah, that is a good question. Who did murder Giovanni Borgia and why? We'll get on to suspects and motives in part 2, but for a moment, I think we just need to take a break for a second. Breathe. There's a lot of drama going on here in Renaissance Italy, and we're so glad that you pressed play and are joining us for this very mysterious cold case in history. If you've been enjoying the episode so far, please make sure to subscribe, follow, like, whatever it may be on the platform in which you're listening. And don't forget to rate and review the show. If you've listened to a few episodes and you really like what you're hearing, please make sure that you rate and review, because that is probably one of the best ways and easy ways and free ways to help our little indie podcast grow. It tells the algorithm, hey, history people like this show, so more history people should like this show. So let's bring some more people into the smoke circle, into the fold. And if you want to see what we're doing on social media, we're on Instagram at High Tales of History, or on TikTok at High Tales of History Pod. All of our social media is linked directly in the show notes below. And if you really, really like what we've got going on, consider being one of our best buds. That's our Patreon. Over there, we have bonus content like our half-baked episodes, which are our bonus episodes, some historical movie nights on the big round couch. Those are a lot of fun, as well as early access to the episodes. And that's all just for a price of like a fancy coffee a month. That's patreon.com/High Tales of History. And that will also be linked in the show notes below. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping to keep the proverbial lava lamps on here at High Tales of History. We've had a lovely little bit of growth lately, and we are so incredibly appreciative for your time to listen to us, and thank you for hanging out with us. You are what keeps this show going. Thank you so much. And thanks for sticking with me through the mid-roll here. Let's get to some juicy gossip. What do you say? Let's bring in our list of suspects, check out their motives, and maybe why the Borgias were such a hated family in the first place. And with that, let's puff pass it on to part 2.
Now, the Orsinis, they certainly have a compelling and like really fresh motive. You know?
Who was the land that he got? It was those people?
The Orsinis, yes.
I mean, that's the most likely option. They just paid someone to do it. Like, oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, and you know what? You're really not far off, because like that's what a lot of people think.
Well, just especially with, like I said, the manner in which it was done, how it was like the destroying of the like the face, the figure, like that tells you that it was a Borgia targeted attack, not necessarily Giovanni, but what he represented.
It's an interesting take. Yeah, so they certainly have a pretty fresh motive and a fresh slight against them, and it's a very humiliating, thing. Like the papal army is lost to you, and yet they're going after your shit still. But again, we do have to remember the Borgias were a powerful, incredibly wealthy family with their connections, all their connections, their power, wealth built on a really deep system of nepotism. favoritism, all the isms that you can do to have all the
Possibly even autism. We don't know.
Trains, dinosaurs, we're getting them all in there. Some scandal, perhaps. Giovanni is very handsome. You know, he has a reputation as a bit of a womanizer, ladies' man kind of thing.
We have established that there were a lot of hot people.
So many hot people. And there are actually a few suspects and motives that get put on the table, from these public humiliations and slights against families to, jealousy and anger over who's sleeping with who, and is that somebody's wife or somebody's wives.
I feel like if that was the case, the attack would have been more towards like the groin or the reproductive organs.
Okay. Thanks, Agent Katie.
I'm saying, like, listen, I read Katie, a lot of murder. it's horrific a little bit, actually.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're Agent Katie. You get your detective hat on. You're looking at all the clues.
It is a bucket hat, though. I just want you to know.
It's a bucket hat with a trench coat. Yep. Looking like an Inspector Gadget, sort of. It's great.
Yeah, actually. But with really cool sunglasses.
But with cool sunglasses, obviously. Yeah. So here are our list of suspects and their motives. Number 1, an early but short-lived suspect was Antonio Maria Pico della Mirandola. Woo. Sweating a little bit. Wah, wah. There we go, Italy. He was a count who owned a home in the area that where he was murdered and where the body was disposed. The Pope's envoy to Florence must have heard the very popular rumor that was going around that Mirandola's daughter was, quote, shapely, and she's so beautiful that there's this rumor that her and Giovanni had a little thing going on. And so because of that, her dad was like, right, take him out.
That one actually seems rather weak to me. Again, especially the manner that the murder took place. I don't know. It just doesn't seem likely to me.
Yeah. Like I said, early and short-lived. This is the guy that could maybe have. And again, rumor, right? There was a rumor that, this might have been happening. Not even like anything was confirmed, right? There's a connection there being that Della Mirandola didn't do the murder himself and had it arranged alongside another powerful family, the Sforzas. So again, based on a rumor, but the rumor again being that like Della Mirandola found out and got his buddy, the Cardinal Ascanio Sforza, to help him out. So the Sforzas are another super powerful family in Italy. So let's look at then another prime suspect, and that's Ascanio Sforza. He was a cardinal, but not just any cardinal. He was the vice chancellor of the Holy Roman Church. And again, a Sforza, so that's another incredibly powerful family that's really wealthy. The tensions between these two families were like, not least of all because his cousin, Giovanni Sforza, had been married to Lucrezia, the super duper beautiful one. And this was her first husband and one of those powerful alliance things that she was married into.
So this is the sister.
This is the sister.
Okay.
She asks her father, Pope Alexander VI, using his Pope power. I wrote a TM next to that. Pope power TM. She's like, can you annul this marriage? And he does, due to impotence.
Oh.
Since divorce wasn't allowed, right? This is the Catholic Church.
Right.
Now, you might be able to imagine the embarrassment and just general nastiness, right? To the family after something like that. Powerful family, strong family, long-running family in Italy. Proud.
Italy.
Right?
I'm surprised he did it, to be honest with you. That was a really stupid idea.
Yeah. She couldn't get a divorce. So it was like, can we just annul this? But due to impotence, because at least
he really loved his
cheat,
kids.
He didn't,
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, he really loved his kids to be willing to risk that public, not just the outcry, but that now public feud probably with that family. Like, that shit doesn't go away.
Yeah.
That's a big move.
Well, again, they couldn't divorce. And so in terms of like annulling a marriage, there's very specific reasons how that could happen. So impotence is one of them. And rude, right? Because that would mean either Giovanni Sforza couldn't get it up or he's gay. Either one. Oh no, the virility of this
So I'm
this
saying he
man
like
is like,
publicly shamed that family because his daughter asked him to. I was like, wow, that's
mhm,
and cut a very powerful tie.
yeah.
Hello.
Hmm. Another layer then with it is he would have to return Lucrezia's sizable dowry that she brings with to the marriage, right? He's going to have to give back the money. And number two, he would then have to sign a document that says, yes, I am impotent. We have to annul this marriage. And he's like, I'm not signing that. He did what any reasonable person would do, and he accused Lucrezia and Daddy Borgia of an incestuous relationship, and that's why she didn't want to be married, because
Whoa.
she had a relationship with Dad. Gross, right? So he starts this rumor, huge humiliation.
I feel like I
Boom,
just walked into
answers
like
back.
yeah. This is like
Kong.
you actually did take us to like a Bridgerton.
Yeah.
What was the one that Mom always watched back in the day? Downton Abbey. Like I feel
Downton
like I'm deep in one of those dramas right now.
Yeah.
Like that's what's happening.
They just accused the Pope of having an incestuous relationship with his daughter. Boom, boom, volleyed it right back. And this is actually like a really nasty piece of propaganda that's still talked about and woven into like the lore of the Borgias to this day. And this all happened, boop, this annulment all happened in the earlier half of the year 1497. Once again,
Okay.
the same
Yeah.
year that
The murder happened. Wow. So was there any like truth to it or no? That was just most likely a rumor. Okay.
A rumor.
I
Yeah.
figured.
Again, you can't get divorced. There's only certain reasons why someone could get something annulled. And yeah, that's probably like the way that they're going to go with it, because I'm not sure what the other ones would be offhand, but it's not great. So this is also fresh drama. Now, Giovanni Sforza, I know we've got so many Giovannis here. Giovanni Sforza, the husband who's getting annulled then from Lucrezia, he got to keep the dowry. This was like the deal here. We'll let you keep the money.
They settled outside of court.
But you have to sign the paper that says that you're impotent.
But you get to keep your cash.
But you get the money. So to add to the tea here, 6 months later, it said that Lucrezia was allegedly already with child. Who named it? Wait for it. Giovanni Borgia.
What?
Don't think too hard about that one, folks. So she ended up having this child. This is her child, right? She ended up having this child that they named Giovanni Borgia after the murder of her brother. So again, remember, these are all happening within 1497. There's like boom, 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 boom within a few months of each other. So because he died, it was like, it's thought to be like it's a way to honor her late brother.
And then
like also he's the favorite son of Rodrigo. So it's like, So
easily. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Honor the family, right? Okay.
But his dad was also Giovanni, most likely, but not the brother.
We know. I was just about to say. Now we do know for certain that the baby is not Giovanni Sforza's.
Really?
But beyond that, no one knows who the father is, and therefore this allowed the rumor mill to go wild with the speculation that the pregnancy was further proof of it being with her father.
Oh, did it come out with weird eyeballs?
There's a third eyeball in the middle of its forehead. No, and it's not her father's either. Well, it's not her and her father's. Like it's not their child together. Like that was just a really nasty rumor.
Okay,
but
so there's no
stuck.
truth to the incestuous.
Right,
no
truth to that. Mm-hmm. To add some opportunity to the suspect and the tale here, Giovanni and his company, the valet and the masked man, were next to the palace of Cardinal Ascanio Sforza just before he went missing. So their house was like there in that area. Despite that, though, Rodrigo almost immediately absolves Sforza, the cardinal, of the murder. He's like, I don't think you actually had anything to do with it. Our families might not get along, but I don't think you have anything to do with it.
Interesting.
So the next two on our list are the two main suspects, and also the two that had the most to gain from Giovanni Borgia's death. So let's bring the Orsinis back out here. This was the family who aligned themselves with France against Pope Alexander VI, the ones who Giovanni led the campaigns against and ultimately lost to. The military action against them, as well as the carving out a principality, which included some of their lands. Fresh pain point, right? A lot of people did and still do think the Orsinis might have had Giovanni assassinated. It's also thought that Rodrigo knew that they were involved, but was persuaded not to take action against the family for politics. Like
Yeah.
if you do something to go against them, it's going to get bad. So then the fourth and final, and I'd say most scandalous suspect, is one that came several months later after Giovanni's murder, and that's the older brother, Cesare.
What?
Ooh. So as I mentioned earlier, remember
Not the handsome one.
The handsome one. The handsome oldest brother. Oh my goodness. So as I mentioned earlier, the relationship between the two is already strained, right? You have the older brother and then the favorite younger brother, or middle brother. Giovanni was also put in charge of the papal army, which...
Yeah, I was going to ask, why wasn't Cesare have more favor with his dad? I thought that was weird.
That's a good question, Katie. Why not? I don't know. But it's a secular position. It's a secular position. That military position that he had is a secular one. Whereas Cesare had to become a cardinal, and he didn't want to become a cardinal, but he did it because his dad made him. Right. Well.
So that's what it was. He wasn't necessarily the less favored. He was going to be the next pope, is what this guy wanted.
Potentially. It was a way... When you're looking at strategy, it's a way having a foot in the secular world and a world in the ecclesiastical.
That's what I'm saying. So I see why it looks like the other brother was favored, but what it is you are the oldest, you must carry this helm because he is the pope first and foremost. So they think the brother did it?
Well, okay, so this is part of why he's suspected. So with Giovanni gone, then with him out of the picture, Cesare was then allowed to leave the church and take up that military commander position.
Oh.
And then also be the prospective ruler of that principality that Giovanni was getting piecemealed apart by his dad. He's like, well, I can take that too. And also there's that realization then, or I should say that there's that precedent that's been set as well too, with Giovanni living with Pierluigi, his older half brother, who is the Duke of Gandia. And then when he passed away, Giovanni got that title as the second Duke. So it's there are potentially new titles, lands, wealth, a lot of things that can come my way with this position.
And I don't have to be in the church, which he clearly didn't want, would you?
Mm-hmm. Well, and then as well too, if he's also a military commander, whatever he decides to, Napoleon his way through and conquer, he could potentially be like, look, this is mine now, or whatever it is that he wants to.
This is what we don't have. We don't know, was he sad at the funeral? Did he cry? How did he react to his brother's death? See, these are the things I need to know.
Agent Katie, you need to go back and study his face when they bury Giovanni, right?
Yeah.
It's
I'd be there
Hamlet.
when they told him. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to know. I want to see what he does.
You got to watch his face. Take a picture of his face. How will you know? But Cesare was fucking ruthless. This guy is yuck. Don't want to meet him. Don't want to be his enemy or meet him on a battlefield.
Oh,
and he definitely had people assassinated.
So
left, right,
Cesare
and center.
is like a dick.
Including his own brother-in-law, Lucrezia's second husband. So there's the annulment first. Her second husband gets assassinated by her own freaking brother. Well, someone he's hired at least.
Yeah.
Alfonso of Aragon, who also, here you go, this web gets woven. Alfonso of Aragon, okay, that's Lucrezia's husband. The youngest, remember Joffrey? Remember little Joffrey?
Yes.
His wife, that's her brother. So the brother and sister are married to the other brother and sister.
Okay, sure.
Not brother and sister each shoulder, but
no. But they they each the sibling married the sibling of the other person. So all the so the brother-in-law is also is married to the sister, whatever. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay.
Both sets of siblings married each other, not within the family, but both sets of siblings married each other from the families. I'm with you.
Yep. You got it. So he's assassinating people all the time, including his own military commanders when at a dinner. He's like, I suspect you're plotting against me. Oh, I'm right. Gah. Fun fact number one. Caesare's got some fun facts about him. The first one being that Niccolo Machiavelli. Do you know that name?
Yeah.
Machiavelli? Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why. Yeah.
Okay. It's a sort of a handbook for how to be how to rule with an iron fist, essentially.
Oh, okay. I know the name.
Yeah. So
Thought it was a
he
sauce.
knew the family, and he used Caesarea as a model for what a prince should look like. It's that like the whole, well, one of many, but the mantra of like, it's better to be feared than to be loved. So that's Caesarea there. Like he gets to shine in that book a little bit. And then here's fun fact too, and I like this one. It's believed that Caesarea, super handsome, right?
Very good looking.
Was also the visual model in Renaissance art, and then beyond, because that visual was taken and ran with, for white Jesus.
Oh, interesting. You know what I thought of when I looked at him was the picture of Dorian Gray, which is also very white Jesus-y. So
it's white Jesus as well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for real. Like interesting.
I'll put the pictures up of Renaissance white Jesus.
I got to see that in person. Well, some of it.
That's cool.
Sorry.
So that's Caesarea, but he wasn't the only sibling that the public suspected. So Joffrey, again, let's go back to little Joffrey.
What?
His wife, Sancha of Aragon, was rumored to have been having affairs with both Giovanni and Caesarea. And that Joffrey just couldn't fucking take it and was just like, I have to, timid, quiet Joffrey arranged to have Giovanni murdered. Now, there's not much to that, and it wasn't really taken that seriously, but his name even gets thrown into the mix. There were so many rumors around this family, and some bits, there's some truth to some of them, but the best way to hide a lie is to surround it with some truth, right? You can weave that into family lore and biographies a lot easier. All the rumors and the propaganda around the family, unfortunately, further muddied the waters in terms of trying to find
Right,
justice
makes it hard
for
to
Giovanni.
narrow down, like, yeah, like real
Because you're looking at
suspects.
everybody.
Right, yeah. I still think there's a lot to say specifically about that family, but now knowing what I know about the brother, I'm like, oh, that's actually just as viable in my mind, because from what I can tell, I guess it's like if siblings don't get along, I guess it's super common that they like murder each other. Like it's not like geez. Super glad I didn't have a violent relationship with my siblings.
Right? Good thing we get along. All those rumors muddy the water. It makes it harder to actually find the suspect and get justice for Giovanni and the family. So ask the truth who murdered Giovanni Borgia. I don't think we're ever going to know. The Borgias are one of the most controversial and nefarious families in history, right? You knew them right off the bat. And subsequently, their exploits, or even more so the rumored exploits, it's like the stuff of history book legends. It's the legends in the history book. Like, holy moly, did you hear this about them?
They write history dramas off of this family.
Yeah. And so certainly we know that somebody despised Giovanni and or the family enough to have him murdered. This murder, though, and the mystery around it, and also who's that masked man? No one knows. He's just talked about a little bit, and then no one ever hears about him again. Did you remember the masked man?
Yeah, I did, and I was waiting for you to come back to him.
No one fucking knows. Yeah, exactly. Be disappointed in that, just like everybody else is like, why the fuck are we talking about this guy? Did he exist? Exactly.
Well, he had to. Otherwise, why? Do you think he was fabricated? Who claimed he was there?
Our master of ceremonies, Johann Burchard, which we're going to hear more about this guy in a little bit.
Okay.
So the murder, the rumors, all these things, it's part of the dark cloud over the Borgia name that's hung over the family for centuries. It's called the Black Legend of the Borgias. Okay. It refers basically as like mythical as that sounds. It's just the smear campaign and the propaganda against the family. It's basically all the mud that's been slung. They're like,
it sounds bougie. It's not that great. It's just basically that would be what you would call the TV show of this quite literal soap opera.
Yeah, it sounds cool to say it out loud. That's really all it is. And so, as we have learned in this episode, they made enemies of other great houses, and these folks were so good at gossip. Rome is gossipy as hell. That's a given. We know that. Like people were talking shit and spilling proverbial tea at the Agora. They're like, "Did you hear this? Do you think that stopped in the Renaissance? No. Rome in the Renaissance was like, we've got more gossip and better paintings. We've got gossip and sketches for flying machines. We've got, you know what I mean? Like we
have it all.
We have all the things. And cobblestone. Meet me at the cobblestones. Let's talk some shit. The talk being all kinds of things. Like, not only do they do the most perverse things with each other, but like, they're not even originally Italian. They're foreigners. Ugh, they're Spanish. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't even go here. Like, right?
Oh, I was actually thinking of in Gladiator, Maximo. He's the Spaniard.
They call him
Remember?
a Spaniard. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Going back to Alonso de Borgia, who originally brought the family to Italy from Spain, even his allies, or the people who said they were his friends and allies, said he was monstrously corrupt and called him the scandal of his age. Like, he bribed his way into becoming Pope Calixtus III. His nephew Rodrigo did the same, and reputation precedes him as being even worse than his uncle.
Yo. Pretty bad.
To the point where he must have sold his soul to the demons, because he's just the worst, right? This is how severe the rumors were.
Wow.
And again, we're going to find our Johann Burchard here. He's the master of ceremonies, the historian for several papacies. And he said, quote, "There is no longer any crime or shameful act that does not take place in public in Rome and in the home of the pontiff, who could fail to be horrified by the terrible, monstrous acts of lechery that are committed openly in his home, with no respect for God or man. Rapes and acts of incest are countless, and great throngs of courtesans frequent St. Peter's Palace. Pimps, brothels, and whorehouses are to be found everywhere." End quote. Gasp, shock, horror.
And that was about Rodrigo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow, yeah. He's not remembered fondly, is he?
Yeah, but the most vile and depraved of them all were his four spawn, his children. Those four devils.
Yeah.
Cesare is as abominable as he is handsome. It said he's killed his brother Giovanni, has an incestuous relationship with his sister. Oh my gosh. Having an affair with his youngest brother's wife, who's also having an affair with the second brother. Oh my gosh. And then goes on his ruthless conquest and murder across Italy in a quest to carve out a kingdom for himself. What a vile, cunning man he is. And Lucrezia, bitch, please don't even get me started on her. She's sleeping with everybody, including her older brother and her dad. Gross. She's a poisoner. She murders people. She might even be a witch. Well, Giovanni, God, that little shit. Giovanni, womanizing, sleeping with everybody and other people's wives, including his sister-in-law. He's daddy's favorite son. He's getting a principality made from the lands of the family he lost a war to. The audacity. Can you believe it?
And Jeffrey's just happy.
And Joffrey's just part of the family, so he must be just as bad, right?
Joffrey just sucks to be related to them.
Tell me in the marketplace, right? The rumors that swirled around the family became just as entrenched in the biographies as actual fact about the family. But y'all, I saved the juiciest gossip for the end of our story here. It was an event that had a few names, some used more commonly than others. The Banquet of Chestnuts, Feast of Chestnuts, Ballet or Dance of Chestnuts, or the less used name, the Joust of Whores. Katie, what do you think happened at this event?
I'm like, in my mind, there were a lot of titties involved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to
You're on a great path. You're on a great path.
Oh,
Tits
good.
is a really good answer to throw out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Feast of Chestnuts was an alleged event that was hosted by Cesare at the Papal Palace on All Hallows Eve. October 31st,
I'm
right?
pretty sure I've actually played an Assassin's Creed story on this exact thing because it's an adult game and it totally puts this in there.
Everybody wants to talk about the orgy. Let's talk about
Greece
this.
wasn't doing that for hundreds of years before.
All the family and friends were invited. It's this lavish affair. Decadent food, drink, pour that wine. Awesome. Entertainment. 50, quote, honest prostitutes, this is according to Johann Burchard, honest prostitutes were brought in to serve food and drink, to speak with the guests and converse and be charming, and then to dance. But, as the night went on, less and less clothes stayed on bodies. And after dinner, some people thought it would be really fun. Let's take the candelabras off the table. Let's scatter the floor with some chestnuts and have the now naked ladies crawl around on their hands and knees and see
Yeah.
how many chestnuts we can pick up with our mouth. Or maybe some people like to suggest with their nanny hoo-hoos. I don't know where that's going.
With their
What do you with their nanny hoo-hoos?
Is that
Their
what you call a
vaginas.
vagina?
With their flowers, you know what I mean?
Oh my
With their
gosh.
predator Yautja faces. I mean, you'd have to get those chestnuts.
Matriarchal
No.
society, just saying.
Mhm. I'm
Anyway.
pretty sure it's probably mouths, if this even happened in the first place. But people like to throw out, maybe it was their puss. So
I hope they literally wrote down nanny hoo hoo because it's like, what the hell?
So they're going around picking up these chestnuts. And when people couldn't contain their lusty desires any further, a contest was put forth with prizes for those who could do the deed with as many of the sex workers as possible. Could you imagine the sad sack who's got to stand there with the parchment
Again,
and quill who's got to like count
unoriginal.
orgasms? Like, are you kidding
Right.
me?
Unoriginal, first of all. Again,
God.
Greece was doing Dionysus would laugh at you.
Tally 1.
His
2.
life was an orgy.
And it said that this alleged orgy went all night long, and the Pope was hung over for days afterwards. The only real account, quotations, the account that we have of said event was from Johann Burchard, who we've talked
Was
to
he just sitting in the
throughout this.
fucking corner writing it all down? Lies.
Yeah, he didn't like the family. It's not a secret, so everyone's like, is this real? Is it true? And just hidden, and no one else has an account of it? Is it slander? Was it an exaggeration to make the family look bad? Did people overinterpret the words to mean something more than they did? Anyway, who can say? What we do know is that, and what we can say is that people hated the Borgias and said whatever they wanted in order to drag their name through the mud. But, were the Borgias really as bad as their contemporaries made them out to be? And Lucrezia, and any other non-gossipy account about her, she actually sounds like she might be kind of like a generally likable woman, like she sounds sweet, she sounds nice enough, right? But she's always used to the political advantage of her father. And because she's a woman,
Right.
it's really easy to target her in the worst and meanest
Sure.
ways, right? Call her all the
Easily, yeah.
names. The Borgias weren't really any worse or any better than any of their other families in Italy. Those forces were particularly cruel. They had enough rumors about their own sex lives and affairs, and they kind of started a war against another family with another country, like that whole thing. The Malatestas, their name Mala and then Testa actually means bad head.
Get wrecked.
Right? You got a temper, you're meat. These guys, holy shit. I had never heard of them until I was like, wait, what? They're described tyrants, megalomaniacs, ruthless politics, murdered a bunch of people and each other in the family. One member had been excommunicated by Pope Pius II for rape, murder, incest, and adultery, and, quote, canonized to hell as a heretic. Like, damn, dude, what?
Wow. You really made the church mad.
You pissed him off real bad.
Yeah.
And the Medicis, right? We know those ones.
Right.
Those ones, that family. They, they were like bankers, really. They bought and bribed and blackmailed,
Yeah.
and maybe even a little murder in there too,
I'm
through all their
sure.
power, right? Although, to be fair, that family is the one that probably comes out looking the best.
I was gonna
of all
say,
their
yeah,
families.
they
They're
really
not
did. Better
quite
they
as-
kept their rumors quieter than the other
Mhm.
guys did.
But what I'm saying is the Borgias were certainly no better and no worse, what we can
Than
say.
everything else that was around them.
And all the
Yeah.
crimes that they actually did do were typical. I'm not saying it makes it right or makes it okay.
Right.
Like, murder is murder and bribing is bribing and whatever, and adultery is adultery. But
Right.
but it was also something that all these other families were doing too. So does that make them worse?
Yeah.
Rodrigo, yeah, not celibate. But
Clearly
again,
not. Yeah.
some other cardinals and other popes in history also had not been celibate. And not only were rumors rife during their own time, but this black legend, it actually worsened as the years went on after the kind of the fall of the Borgia family, because there is this shifting perception in Italy about Spain and the Spanish and their influence that they had within the Italian peninsula. Again, it's that whole
Sure.
like they're foreign. They're not even from around
Yeah,
here, and
they're
they've
not
got so much
Italian.
influence here.
Right.
hmm And that became like Spain in general because of these connections that the Borgias had made. And basically, the Borgias they like Cusco their way in the door. They're like, "Phew, boom, baby." They like immediately got involved, spending the money, throwing their shoulders around.
They did not wait to be invited. They just, like you said,
Right.
Cusco'd their way through the door.
And all these other families, a lot of them had been established at least for several generations, if not even for centuries. They had a long game in mind, a slow burn where these families were slowly building their power, working their way up the ladder.
They kept the politics clean, whereas the Borgias were like, absolutely not.
Well, if it's kind of like I hate to say the analogy, but it's kind of like the frog in the boiling pot kind of thing. If you're doing things slowly and methodically, people are less likely going to point you out and be like, "Hey, you dick! Like, what are you
Right.
doing?"
It's going to be sneakier. People aren't, yeah.
Mhm.
Sure.
Both
I've always preferred the Borgia approach myself.
Well, yeah, both both Borgia popes here, they bought their way into their papacy, then used it to increase the wealth and power of the family, but at the expense of Italian families, right?
Right. And that's
Spanish
where it's a
family,
problem.
boom, knocks the door down, gets the papacy, starts, putting all their people in, and then you're going to take our land and mess with our titles? What? They went to literal war against another family and then tried to take their land and titles, even though they lost said war.
I could
The
see
audacity.
this going over. Yeah. I could see this going over not well on
Yeah.
the land that is now known as Italy.
So Rodrigo passed away within 6 years after the murder of Giovanni. And Cesare's great military
Very
and
soon.
king. Yeah. He was already a lot older. When he had the kids, they were all, or like when he became Pope at least.
Oh, so he
was,
wasn't like murdered or anything. He just died of.
I guess, yeah. Just,
Okay.
yeah. He was like, I think 68 when he became Pope in 1492.
Oh,
So-
shit. Yeah, he was old. Holy shit.
Yes, he lived about 70, or, it was just
That's old
enough.
1400s? Holy crap. It's all that good Mediterranean diet,
It's all that olive oil, yeah.
Mhm.
Sunshine.
Good omega-3s from the fish.
Get some omega-3s, yeah.
Absolutely.
So he passes away 6 years after the murder of Giovanni. And then Cesare's great, his whole military campaign, his whole like, I'm going to make myself a kingdom out
Right.
of my conquered lands, and everyone's going down, right? It just implodes on itself because without Daddy Borgia's support as Pope,
Right.
it's like a house of cards. Just bloop, everything falls in on itself. And this isn't a very satisfying thing to say, but like that's it really for the Borgias. Like most
So where did
other
Cesare
houses
go? Did he just go back to Spain?
You know what the thing is? This is wild. All the kids pretty much died by the time they were 30 or like slightly over or slightly under. Giovanni, he died when
Whoa.
he was 20 or 21. Yeah. It's like they all died young. The kids did.
Huh.
Cesare, what happened with him? I think he was like arrested or something after, or like he was imprisoned, let
Oh.
go, like didn't, just basically kind of like, I think he just kind of lived his life out. I don't know. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of houses held power over their lands for several generations or centuries, but the Borgias just imploded.
I was
Here
going to
and
say,
gone within
they
about
coming in
50
hot
years.
and they left
Yeah.
also equally as hot.
Yeah. So they might not have, like, as popular as the name is, they weren't like a
There that
long-standing
long.
ancient
Yeah.
Italian family. Like I
Right.
thought that. I thought that they were like, like the Medicis or any of the rest of them.
I had no idea.
No, I didn't know much about the Borgias at all until this thing. It's really interesting because while it was about 50 years for their reign of sorts, what lasted in all the years since until, somewhat recent within history was this notorious reputation that's been just perpetuated throughout historic accounts and gossip and legend and lore
So their
and pop
reputation.
culture.
Interesting.
So we know, or we think we know, all these things about the family, but in terms of what happened to Giovanni Borgia, we don't know. Who killed
Yeah.
him? Why? But it's like one of those great historic
I
cold
stand
cases, and it's the
by-
Borgias,
Yeah, sure.
Scandal, shock, insult, audacity.
Hot
Italian
and
pride.
rich.
Um, yeah, I still think it was that other family was waiting for a chance. I could see his brother being a part of it, like, yeah, go on, go get him, like encouraging it. But I don't think he necessarily lifted the hand to do it. But
That's a good call. Are you talking about
yeah,
the Orsini's, the ones that had
who
the
got
war
their
against him?
yes, the
Mhm.
Orsini's, thank you, who got their land sectioned up because he was an asshat and
Mhm.
handsome, but you know.
But yeah.
Yeah, so that is what makes me think. The reason I think that is because, like, although if you look at it, well, his brother would have had somebody else kill him, right? His brother wouldn't have done it himself.
Yeah,
So
you would
for
have had
that
an assassin.
personal correct.
Yeah.
So for that personal nature, I don't know why the assassin would not have that emotional connection. He's just hired to do a job, which tells
Mm.
me that the manner in which he was murdered was personal, and the person that was doing it was the one who wanted it done. You think about that. Think about
Yeah.
the way the body was left. He was left with his money there. They could have taken it, and it's not about being rich or anything, but strip him of everything, right? But no,
Mhm.
they left it with him. Despite all your money, all your power, and everything, could have even been a message to his dad. He still died, you know what I mean? And how you said he was persuaded not to pursue, or thought that he was persuaded not to pursue for political reasons.
Mhm.
That honestly still seems the most. I'm solving it right now, everybody. Um,
You heard it here first.
White
Unsolved.
bitches and true crime podcasts, we were made for this. This
Unsolved
is the
mystery now
birthright.
solved.
This is
Mhm.
the birthright of
Stop
white
the
women
presses.
everywhere. It's true crime podcast. But seriously, in this mystery history, it just seemed I'm convincing myself more and more by the second. So I think one of the families actually got to do it, especially with the way his visage was stabbed, and they were
Mhm.
ruining that. And I think it was also a message for his dad.
Okay.
Definitely, it definitely was.
I think you got a point there. There are a lot of people who are really into the Borgias and Renaissance Italy and or historians. you know, the people that do the work. Like that would agree with you. A lot of people do think that it was the Orsini's as well. But like many things, people like to debate and argue it. You can give plenty of reasons one way or another, but a lot of other historians will say, we think it might be the Orsini's as well.
Yeah.
Certainly motive, opportunity, those
Mhm.
sort of things. But
Manner of death.
we
It matters.
don't know. Yeah.
Mhm.
But certainly interesting. It's certainly a fun one to dive into. Thank you for your work, Agent Katie, on helping to try and
Sorry,
solve
I
this
got
mystery. It's good.
I
We
didn't
appreciate
just like
your
get in the
valuable
car,
input.
dude. I like slid you over to the passenger seat and was like, all right, I'm driving. Where are we going? You yell at the directions.
I'm the captain now. Move over
Right.
and just slide me down the bench seat of our 1978,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's what
we're
happened.
at.
I like busted in. I was like, no, I'm driving, but you can read the directions.
She's got
You
a
had-
mustache all of a sudden. It's like the
Yep.
thickest, like sort of.
You had MapQuest out. You were like,
yeah. No, girl, I had a fold out map. It was taking up the
even
whole
better.
dashboard.
Take a right at the Square of Jews.
Mm-hmm.
The most
Gotta stab the valet. Gotta kill him. Go get Giovanni.
Most uncreatively named location, literally in all of Rome, in my opinion.
Yeah. So that's the murder of Giovanni Borgia, and a bit about the Borgia family, just because they're a hoot. They're a hoot and a half. Those Borgias. But
I was here for it.
You guys all enjoyed that. That was a really fun one for me to do as well. Who doesn't love a bit of a mystery, some mystery history?
Oh, I love mystery history. You said that. I like got settled in and everything. I put my feet up. I was like, I'm ready.
Get some snacks. So thank you for joining me, Katie. Thank you, everyone in the Smoke Circle, for joining us. We hope you had some fun with that today. Katie's going to be back with us again in a couple of weeks for episode 118.
Yeah.
What you got? What's in the back pocket that you're gonna quick draw McGraw out of your holster to the?
I should have had that ready for you, shouldn't I? Hold on, I had it written down.
Oh, you have it written. You actually know. See, folks, I just decide at the very last possible second, decide what I'm actually going to write about.
Let's say, to give you an idea, it will be fantasy history, sort of.
Oh, okay. That sounds like the biggest oxymoron I think I might have ever heard. It had to land on me and soak into me, and I was like,
Did
you just say
it'll
two
make
opposites?
sense. when you so the history behind what inspired a massive historical fantasy figure, right? When I say who it is, you're going to be like, oh, that makes total sense. I'll be like, yeah, I
Okay.
told you. Like,
All right.
it
I'm
is a
gonna try to keep
historical
myself
fantasy
surprised.
figure. Has appeared in a Disney movie. Let's see, what else can I give you? There are books about it. Yes.
Okay.
Are you cutting that out of the video?
I mean, I might. Well, I was gonna say if you're listening, you wouldn't have known what I just said. But if you're watching, you just read my lips. So if you wanted to know what it is, oh, how about that?
You got to go to
know what it is,
YouTube.
you got to go to the YouTube or watch on Spotify
And skip all the way to the end.
Yeah, skip all the way. Fast forward for when she mouths the word that Katie is going to do. All right.
Correct. There's actually a really interesting history about that character.
I know. I understand what you're talking about. I know what you mean.
Right?
So that's going to be really
about
exciting.
As accurately as I could have described it. I was like, honestly, that's not wrong.
Yeah. Well, interesting. I'm looking forward to episode 118 with you.
Some might say it will be magical.
It will be a magical episode. And between now and then, a little bippity boppity boo, get money, get high, give love, and
maybe don't assassinate your neighbor.
Maybe don't kill the other powerful family in your town.
Historical lesson of the day with that. Work on your diplomacy. Listen, this is a good lesson for modern day, right? Listen before you speak. Let's leave it there.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.